and I'm proud to be an American assassin. American Assassin stars Dylan O'Brien as a young man who's on a path of revenge. When his new fiancée is murdered by some terrorists, he takes it upon himself to go fight them, but is instead recruited by the CIA to take down terrorists for real. A lot of people don't like this movie. In fact, it has a pretty low score all around, no matter where you go check the score. I do understand where they're coming from, which is this is as cliched as a movie as you can possibly get, which is entirely true. And while I do understand that, and that is part of my review, I also take notice of everything else that I feel like got right or maybe got wrong in other areas. As far as originality and cliches go, yeah, that's gonna be a 0, but we'll get to that later. First up is the people category. Acting wise, I'll say this much: I have total faith in Dylan O'Brien and Michael Keaton to be really great actors. In this case, I can't really say that they're not. They're doing their jobs as best as they possibly can, but there is no real range between either of them or anybody else in that matter when it comes down to the film. Everybody's really serious. Dylan O'Brien specifically can't contain his anger, so he's mad the entire movie. And Michael Keaton's just serious the whole time, as if he thinks he's Batman. There's no expressions beyond that. 1 out of 2 possible stars. Characters. When it comes down to the characters, I don't really think I will be remembering the movie for the characters. As far as this goes, I'll be like, hey, have you seen American Assassin? It's the movie with Dylan O'Brien and Michael Keaton. Heck, I don't really remember their names all that much, and I do know that this is based off of a series of novels and everything, but so 1 out of 2 possible stars. Casting. Did they cast the right people in these roles? Honestly, I can't say for sure if they did or not. They did fine in the roles, for sure, but I can't say anybody else couldn't have stepped into the roles and played the same characters, because like I said, the characters themselves weren't memorable, the actors were. 1 out of 2 possible stars. Importance. Now here's a good thing. Everybody in the movie had an important role to play into the direction of the plot. And I mean everybody. So I will say 2 out of 2 possible stars for that. Chemistry. How well does everybody work together? I think they all work fine. I mean, what do you got? You got a pretty typical, cliched assassin spy movie. That's what you get for chemistry as well. 1 out of 2 possible stars. Giving the people category 6 out of 10 possible stars. Not the greatest start. Writing. Did anything stick out there? Speeches, the way people talk, anything in that regards? No quotes, no nothing. It was all basically typical dialogue stuff. 1 out of 2 possible stars. The story. This is where the cliched stuff gets a little out of hand. Story. It's a mixture of stuff we've already seen a million times before, so I have to kind of say 0 out of 2 possible stars for story. After that is originality, and again, cliche. What part of the movie is actually original? Honestly, I can't answer that. 0 out of 2 possible stars. Was it interesting, though? I think so. I thought the trailer looked really cool and exciting. I felt the same when I was watching it. So 2 out of 2 possible stars for interesting. That gives the writing score 4 out of 10 possible stars. BTS. Behind the scenes. With visuals, I can't really say that there was a ton of specific things that would be considered great visuals, but a lot of the action in it, especially performed by Dylan O'Brien, is nice to look at. It's just, you could watch that all day, and because of that, I think visuals 2 out of 2 possible stars. Directing. How was it directed? It was fine, other than the fact that the storytelling specifically was bogus. I will say that the directing specifically was okay. Just nothing that really stands out. 1 out of 2 possible stars. When it comes to action films specifically, some people don't realize that coming by something that's good editing is harder to realize than a normal movie with good editing. Action films, and specifically action films with hand-to-hand combat, are hard to edit because you want the viewer to understand all the moves that's going on, who's winning, who's losing, and what's going on in the atmosphere around them. A lot of times with fight scenes, you'll notice real close-up quick cuts from all different angles, and you really don't understand what's going on. In this movie, you understand everything from the beginning to the end as to what's going on. A lot of it was actually smart, so I will say editing 2 out of 2 possible stars. Advertisement. Cliched or not, I think it was as advertised. I liked the trailers and I watched the movie because of that, and I liked what I saw there. Didn't see anything false about it. 2 out of 2 possible stars. Music. This is where I say it was typical. It was what it needed to be in order for the movie to feel like a spy assassin movie, so 1 out of 2 possible stars for that. That gives the BTS score 8 out of 10 possible stars. Narrative arc. Introduction. Got us acquainted with the main character that Dylan O'Brien plays, Mitch, who loses his girlfriend to a weird terrorist attack, makes him want to go on a revenge spree. The inciting incident is when he is found by the CIA and recruited because of his skills. Then he can't go back from that, or else they'll put him in prison. The obstacles, well, what can I say? It's an assassin spy thing movie. What do you think the obstacles are? It's pretty typical there. Climax, it was a culmination of everything before it, and you feel satisfied because it got to that point. And the falling action has a calming down moment as well as an idea as to what the new norm is, which is different than how we began. 10 out of 10 possible stars for that. Entertainment. How entertained was I while watching the film? Here's where I like to say there is technical aspects of a film and there's the aspects that just make it entertaining. Some movies have both, but I've seen a lot of movies, it's either one or the other. It's great on a technical level and boring as heck. But that's not what this movie is. It's kind of the opposite. It's got some real issues when it comes down to the technical aspects, but it is entertaining. As far as rewatchability goes, I say absolutely. I will rewatch it. I'll look for it and everything. Rewatchability, 2 out of 2 possible stars. Do I think it's a fun movie? Oh yeah, I had a heck of a lot of fun watching it. 2 out of 2 possible stars. Do I have an impulse to buy it? Cheap? Yes. Full price? No. I do want to own it, but it's not the kind of movie where it's like, go out and buy it right now. 1 out of 2 possible stars. Do I have an impulse to talk about it? Other than this review, I will say no. It is what it is. Everybody knows it's cliche. There's not much to talk about. 0 out of 2 possible stars. Does it suck the audience in? People will be sucked in for the fight scenes and specific action sequences, but maybe not more than that. I was sucked in throughout, but I think for the most part, people will have a hard time with a lot of the cliche story. So 1 out of 2 possible stars for that, making the entertainment score 6 out of 10 possible stars, which isn't bad at all. Specialty. 5 things before seeing the movie. First, I wanted to know how the action was. The trailer seemed to signify that it would have a lot of great action, and it does indeed. I was impressed with a lot of the action there. 10 out of 10 possible stars. Next, I want to know about the 2 main actors, Dylan O'Brien and Michael Keaton. Well, when it comes to Dylan O'Brien, he's pretty much known for action when it comes to films. Even TV shows when he's in Teen Wolf, but for movies, you know him for Maze Runner, and now you know him for American Assassin. So as far as that goes, I think if somebody were to bring him up, I probably would mention American Assassin. 10 out of 10 possible stars. As for Michael Keaton, you know he's been in a million different things, and he has shown super range when it comes down to different types of films, and it's hard for me to really say I would mention this. If somebody brought up Michael Keaton, I wouldn't mind having a discussion about the movie in general, but I don't know. So I would say 5 out of 10 possible stars for that. Is it a thriller? I think so, personally. I think I had a lot of fun with it. I was kind of on the edge of my seat a few times in the movie, regardless of how cliched it is. It is, like I said, it's fun and it's thrilling, so 10 out of 10 possible stars. Is it halfway decent? Look, people are gonna say no to this because of how cliched it is. And I know story is important. So is everything else, including the action. People make fun of and belittle action, but a lot of work does go into things like choreography and cinematography, even for that matter, and editing and everything, in order to make these action sequences look great versus look okay. This is something I could never do, and I was always an aspiring filmmaker. Seeing this in front of me is like, wow, I wish I could do this. And because I think that, I have to say it is halfway decent. So 10 out of 10 possible stars. And if we add everything together, we get 79 out of 100 possible stars, 79%. Okay guys, follow me on Twitter. My username is IAMDWG, which is IMDWG, and you can also find me at the username on Tracked.tv, which is a website where you can track everything that you watch, movies, TV, anime, pretty much anything you can possibly think of. As for YouTube, subscribe to me. Click that like button, click that bell to be notified when I come out with my next movie review. And until then, guys, peace out.